Today we're going to talk about the discriminant. Okay? The discriminant is part of something else that we're really going to focus on tomorrow, but I really want to talk about just the discriminant today. Okay? So the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. That's what the discriminant is. It's not something you have to understand. This is a given. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. And there's several different options for the discriminant. Okay? The first option is that when you put everything in like you're supposed to, you can get a number that is positive. If you get a positive number for your discriminant, that means the graph looks something like this, or maybe it looks something like this. It's one or the other, not both, one or the other. But what's true about this blue graph? How many times does it cross the x-axis? Once here and once here, right? What about the green one? Also 2 times. It can open up or down, but it crosses the x-axis twice. That means if the discriminant is positive, there are 2 real solutions. Now, I don't know what the solutions are, and today it's not time to figure that out. Today we're deciding what kind of discriminant I have, and from what kind of discriminant I have, I know how many and what type of solutions. That's our goal today, is figuring out what our discriminant is and how many and what type of solutions we have. Does that make sense? Okay? So if one option for the discriminant is positive, what's another option for the discriminant to be? Negative. Now, what do you think the graph would look like if the discriminant is negative?
Only hit the one. Opposite. Doesn't hit.
So it can open up or down, but it doesn't touch the x-axis at all. So if it doesn't touch the x-axis at all, how many solutions are there?
None. 0.
This is a quadratic though, right? How many solutions am I supposed to have?
2.
2?
Yeah.
So there's still 2 solutions. But what kind of solutions are they?
They're
Uh-huh. If your discriminant is negative, you have 2 imaginary solutions. So what's the other option? Your discriminant is either positive or negative or
neutral.
Good guess. Like maybe if we were in chemistry that might be an option, right? Positive, negative, or neutral, but we're in math. Positive, negative, or what? We have positive numbers, we have negative numbers, and we have 0. So how many solutions do we have if our discriminant is 0?
1.
We have to have 2, right? It's a quadratic. We know we have to have 2, but we have 1 real solution that is called a double root. And why is it called a double root? What does the graph look like? How many times does it cross the x-axis? Once. And how does that happen? Like that? Or like this? The vertex is what touches, right? So, for example, if we're talking about the blue graph, This could be like -5 and +1, right? Those would be examples of the solutions. If I get a positive, I might have examples of -5 and +1. What are the solutions going to look like if the graph looks like this?
0 and -1.
They're imaginary. So like 2i and -2i, right? What does this look like?
-6.
-6, and what's the other one?
6.
Double root.
-6. What's this one? 3 and
3.
3. It's a double root. It's the same number 2 times. So it's really only one real solution, but there's still 2 solutions. It's just the same number. So that's why we say one real solution. But since it's a quadratic, we know there has to be 2 solutions. It's just the same one twice. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now let's use what we know. Here's the problem. 6x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Before I can start doing anything, I need to make sure my equation is in
Standard form.
standard form. What does it mean for a quadratic to be in standard form? It equals 0. And what's true about the exponents?
They're lined up.
They're lined up, right? They're decreasing. It starts with an x squared, and then an x, and then the constant. When that's true, what is this?
6. 1.
A.
What is this?
B.
And what is this?
C.
So you know the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. And you know that how? Yeah, I told you, right? That's how you know. So b squared would be -2 squared minus 4 times 6 times -3. Now, what is -2 squared?
4.
4 minus,
4.
what is 4 times 6?
28.
24. And what's 24 times 3? But it's -3, right? So this should be -72. What is 4 minus -72? 76. So what do you know about this problem?
It equals 76.
It is positive. And how many solutions are there? 2 real solutions. Now, do I know what the solutions are? No, I don't, right? I told you that earlier. We're not trying to find the solutions today. I'm trying to figure out how many there are and what type they are. The discriminant tells us how many and what type. This is a positive number. Since it's a positive number, I know there are 2 real solutions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay?
I think I understand.
Let's try this one then. First thing I check is
Standard form.
it in standard form? Well, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so what's this?
A.
And what's this?
B.
And what's this?
C.
Now, do you guys, can you tell that I'm being careful what I underline? I'm not just drawing a line right there, right? Because is A any part of x squared?
No.
No, it's the term that's in front of x squared, right? The multiplier. B is the multiplier in front of the x. Yes? All right. B squared minus 4ac. B is what?
-1.
Squared minus 4 times -2 times c, which is -1. That's 1 squared
1.
minus, what's 4 times -2?
-8.
-8 times -1?
8.
8. What's 1 minus 8?
7.
-7.
So
So now what do you know? It is negative.
2 imaginary solutions.
So 2 imaginary solutions. Yes? Okay. Last example. Negative 2x squared minus 8x minus 14 equals negative 6.
We can move negative 6 over.
Oh, right. I need to get it in standard form first, right? So before I can even do anything, I have to add my 6. So negative 2x squared minus 8x minus 8
Yes.
equals 0? So what's that?
A, B, C,
Okay, so b squared minus 4ac. B is negative 8, so negative 8 squared minus 4 times negative 8. Okay, so what is negative 8 squared?
64.
64 minus, what is 4 times negative 2? Negative 8 times negative 8? So what is 64 minus 64?
0.
0. So what do you know?
One real and one imaginary.
We're going to talk about that in just a second.
Same. It's just the same.
0 means what?
It's just
One real solution. And what else do I write? Double root. We do need to take care of that real quick, because what I heard was one real and one imaginary. Can you ever only have one imaginary solution?
No.
Ever? No. Because if you have a 2i, what do you also have to have? A negative 2i. You took the square root, so you have to remember the plus or minus, right? And if you take the square root of like negative 4, you get positive 2i and negative 2i. You'll always have either 2 imaginary or 0.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Any questions about finding the discriminant?